Pashas Vayechi, Shabbos Chazak, Baruch Hashem, and we are finishing Sefer Breshis, Baruch Hashem, which we started it on Simchas Torah. The Pasuk says, when Yaakov Avinu was nifter, they brought his oin to a place called Goyren Ha'atod. So the Medrash asks, what does it mean, Goyren Ha'atod? Ha'atod is a place of thorns. You never see that a person has a haystack of thorns. You have haystack of hay, not of thorns. So the Medrash brings down the people which were there, they should have been trod on and made like thorns which were treading on, which you press them down. Why did they get saved? Because they did a few things. A covered Godel. One thing is, when Aroinov from Yaakov Avinu went past, they fixed their pants. And as I say, they put the shleikers on, lifted up their pants to stand straight, going past the Oren of Yaakov Avinu. We have to stand up. Another thing is, they said, one other rabbi said in the Medrash, they lifted up their hands and they said, Evel Godol Ze LeMitzrayim. It's a big mourn for Mitzrayim. So I once heard a story, Reb Shach brings down a story, Yedua. There's two women, the wife of the Golden Vilna and another woman went around snoring money for a big Indian. And they came to a guy's house, knocked on his door. And they asked the wife, where's your husband? She said, my husband's not in. He went out. When's he going to come back? In half an hour. They left the house. They walked on the street. Suddenly one of the women pointed and said, hey, he's coming. That Remendel, he's coming. One of the women pointed with a hand and said, here he is. He's coming. So one of these two women, or the Golden Vilna, or the other one, they told each other, they said, with the shvur at Kriyat Kof, whoever dies first should come to the other one in the dream and say what is going on upstairs. So one of them died first, and one of them said, upstairs you can't understand what is going on at all. But the one which pointed with a hand saying, here he is, she gets more schar than the other one which didn't point. Sometimes the guy asks someone else, where's the bank? Where's the bus stop? You can say, yes, down the road. Or you can say, yeah, go after the second lights, make a right and a left, you'll find the bank there. You'll find the bus stop there. You'll find the taxi there. He showed him with his hand. He explained him. He did something with his hand, with his mouth. We have no idea how much sachar each person gets from his limbs pointing. Maybe that's the reason why when you say, you point with a hand. When you point, which part of the sefer did you line? Are you going to line that day? It was Hakba before Kriyat Torah. It's Hakba after Kriyat Torah. You point with your hand. The same thing is in this week's Sefer. And I want to tell you a story. There was once a story with a Yid which passed away in Chutz La'aretz over 100 years ago. I heard this story from someone which works in the Cheva Kadisha. He told me this story a few years ago. A Yid passed away in Chutz La'aretz, somewhere in Europe. And he left at Savoy that after so much time, he wants to be buried in Eretz Yisrael. So they did. They dug up his grave and they brought him over. As they opened up the grave, they saw his bishlemus. The whole body is bishlemus. No worms, no nothing, like he died 5 minutes ago. The shaila was, what happened there? How can his body be bishlemus? What did he do there? His whole body to be bishlemus, nothing eaten up, garnished. They saw bow down over there that this Yid never ever spoke with his talis on. Never. Never ever spoke with his talis on. He had a talis over his head. He never spoke with his talis on. That's it. He wanted to give Ali in the shul. He went outside, took off his talis. His name is, let's say, Moshe Yaakov Alevi. Moshe Yaakov Alevi put his talis back on. Came back in shul. Never spoke with his talis on. So the talis in Chutz La'aretz was like a shmir, was like an envelope, which was completely round. Completely, his body was round in the talis. The talis was like a mukuf, gvil, anane, a kovoid. Watch the body, that no mazikim should come. The shaila was if to obey him in Eretz with the talis or not. Some say since he had a nest with the talis, you obey with the talis. There's another Yid who beside Yaakov Yisrael once heard say, Eretz you're not allowed to obey with the talis. But once had a different story, or they bought a gvi from America, and the children told the Chevra Kadisha, they'll give as much money as they want. He wants to be bad with the talis. Lamaisi, they made him with the talis, and one of the Chevra Kadisha told him, you saw Yaakov Yisrael that night, that he go back by talis, and Etzel go back, dig up the grave, and take his scissors and cut off the corner. Cut off the corner of the tzitzis. Etzel is different, you mustn't. Etzel is different. But the person has got schmear on his mouth. Allah has come becomes someone doesn't have schmear on the mouth. He has lashon hora and moitzi shema. Eino mechilo ilomis. But someone which does mitzvahs with his hands, the Medrash brings down ma elu shlo zu shum mitzvah biyadayim v'raglayim v'nitzlu al achas kamo v'kamo. A Yid which does chesed with his hands and his feet, and he comes and he goes and he helps and he gives chizuk. He's mechazik people and he helps people. He helps someone crossing the road. He helps someone lifting up the bags. The edge to the elevator doesn't work. Up the stairs. Anything. Any chesed a person does. How Kodesh Baruch Hu helps him and will save him. Ma elu, the Medrash brings down. Lo zu lo chesed. B'yadayim v'raglayim. They only lifted up the hands. They said, Evel Godel. Zeh leMitzrayim. Al achas kamo v'kamo. If someone does chesed. B'yadayim v'raglayim. What kind of schus. What kind of atzlocho. And siyata d'shmaya he has. The person does chesed. Chesed is the highest madriga. Like the Pasuk says, Chesed chofatzti v'lo yizovach. I want chesed. Do chesed to my people. This generation, we all have to do chesed. We do chesed. Hashem will do chesed with us. It's all midah keneged midah. We'll all be helped to have a wonderful chodesh, a wonderful Shabbos chazak. Chazak, chazak, v'nis chazek. We'll all be benched with all the brachos written in the Torah.